doesn't show up by any chance, and then I can stay on longer.
Perfect.
Can you log in?
Hey guys, welcome to the As the Leader Grows podcast. I am your host, Ken Joslin. I've got a special treat for you guys today. I have got one of the most driven leaders that I have ever been around, and it's explained all in her t-shirt she's wearing today. Go, what's up, girl?
Well, thank you for having me. I'm multitasking, letting my assistant know what I need next hour. What is my t-shirt? Can you see it?
I can see it. Give me the background. Give our audience the background who can't read your t-shirt, who are listening to this on podcast platform. Give them the background on your t-shirt.
So the t-shirt says it's your own life. You can fuck it up however you want to. Beep it out if you have to in your podcast. I don't use the F word very often, but hey, in this sense, it fits very well. So this is back in my teenage years. I was asking my dad if I can go to this party with these kids. And my dad looked at me and he didn't say no and he didn't say yes. He said, it's your own life. You can fuck it up however you want to.
And what kind of impact did that have on you?
That one sentence changed my life.
Yeah.
Because from that moment on, I realized that all of my actions are going to have a side effect on my own life, not on my dad's, not on anybody else's, but my own, right? So I'm a firm believer that it does matter who you surround yourself with. It does matter what type of thoughts you have, right? Because we work like magnets. The universe is going to bring you what you think. It's like a frequency, right? You're on this frequency, you're going to listen to channel 955. If you're on this frequency, you're going to listen to 102.7, right? So I believe that we are a huge component to, I actually posted today that you get to design your own life and you happen to be the artist.
I love that. So that was, how old were you? 15, 16 years old when that happened?
Yeah, probably 16-ish, I would think so.
And so you walk away at 16 years old with your dad telling you that. Did you go to the party?
No.
Come on, girl. So obviously that
they were kind of, I don't want to say bad kids, but I knew we probably going to do something stupid and get into some sort of a trouble, and I didn't want to mess up my life.
And how did that one conversation change the direction and help you become who you've become as a woman?
I mean, it's everything, right? This is pretty much how I live my life by. And I also do the same thing when I coach, right? I tell my students all the time, like, hey, go, should I do that? I said, hey, it's your own life. You can fuck it up how you want to. And I think it's life-changing for everybody. I would not be who I am today if I went to that party. Who knows? I could be in an orange suit somewhere in jail in Romania.
Wow. Talk about that. Obviously, you're an immigrant. You've come into the United States and you're freaking crushing it when it comes to real estate. Tell us a little bit about that journey. I saw you just light up. You're like, yes.
I'm like, let's get it.
Yeah.
Well, I came from Romania when I was 21. I didn't speak English until I was 21 years old. It's kind of crazy, right? So I still have an accent. I don't hear my own accent, so I can't fix it.
You don't have an accent. We have an accent in the South. Atlanta, we have an accent, but you do not have an accent.
You do. So I met my husband. I came as an au pair, a live-in nanny. And I met my husband 2 months after I got here in a bar, because we're all really good at guy, right? And I did all kinds of jobs. I've been a stay-at-home mom. I went through all kinds of jobs. And in 2011, so that was in 2003 when I came. In 2011, I got a real estate license. And it was my neighbor's idea. I had a good Facebook account because that's how I communicated from, people from home. And she thought I would make a great realtor. And I was bored at the time. I was a stay-at-home mom with 2 boys. I think they were like 2 and 4. And I was like, what a great idea. I get to go out of the house, right? And I went and did my exam. I got hired in right away with Real Estate One. And I'm just by nature. So, somebody asked me why you're the way you are. And I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know why I'm so driven. I'm the sorest loser you ever meet. So if I decide to do something, I have to be on the top of that list or not on the list at all.
Well, you better never compete with me then.
Because it's one of us constantly going to be chasing the other, right?
That's exactly right.
It's a good competition, right? For me, it's like I might be chasing somebody who's ahead of me, but really I'm chasing my next level, right? I always look at something. If I achieve this, then what else can I do? And if I achieve that, then what else can I do? right? If I can do this, what else can I do, right? So it's really, the chase is more of an internal of what is my next level. But it probably also comes from being raised in communism and not having, I mean, don't get me wrong. I had roof above my head. I had food on my body. I had loving parents. I had a good childhood, right? Now, I didn't go skiing in the Alps. And I didn't get, I got an orange for Christmas and a pair of underwear, right? But I had a good childhood. I didn't have anything else to compare it to, right? And then I got introduced to United States or America through Eddie Murphy, 48 Hours, not coming to everybody thinks Coming to America, but not that one.
One of my favorite movies. All of Eddie's movies back in the 80s were fantastic.
Right? Have you seen him? They just gave him an award at, I don't know if at Golden Globes or what was it? He looked like $1 million. He did not age a month.
Yeah. It's still funny as hell.
I was like, goodness gracious, he aged well. So anyway, I watched 48 Hours by Eddie Murphy just as communism ended, and they shot Ceausescu. And my dad came home with a color TV and a VCR player, and I just thought he was so happy. And I was 7, going on 8 at the time, and I didn't do any better. I thought he was happy because of where he was at. So that was like my introduction to subconsciously to United States, and then somehow, another so many years went by. I was 21 when I finally came to the US as an au pair. And now that I'm here, I'm chasing that American dream. I'm chasing that what is possible.
So let me stop you real quick. Tell me about the journey. You're 21, you're in Romania. You get introduced to America through 48 Hours with Eddie Murphy and Nick Nolte. And you're 21 years old and you've got an opportunity to come to the States. Walk me through leaving your family, leaving all you've ever known to go after what the world calls the American dream, and opportunities and vision and all of those kind of things.
So it's very hard to immigrate into the US. That's what most people do. Oh, there's so many immigrants. Yeah, the ones that can come on land. But other than that, there is no way into the US without getting a visa. So at the time, I had 3 options. I could come as an au pair or live in nanny. I could come and work on an oil rig. Could you imagine me?
I can't imagine you on a roller rig. You would chip a nail. You would chip a nail and go bonkers on somebody.
And I would probably be pregnant in a week, right?
I wasn't going to say that, but that's good.
And then the next one's to work on a cruise ship. So I applied for all 3 jobs. I got all 3 of them, but thankfully the au pair job called first, and that's the one that I accepted. There's also a saying that be careful what you wish for, because it might come true. Thank God that God doesn't answer all of our prayers. Thank God.
Amen.
Right? That he doesn't answer all of our prayers, because thank God then I did not end up in the middle of the ocean on an oil rig. What the heck did I know? I was just going to America in my mind, and I'm going to do everything. I'm going to America.
Yeah, but what was that like, leaving your family and leaving all you had ever known? Because I think that is the key to why you are who you are today.
So I borrowed $200 because my parents didn't have it, and I figured $200 should be enough to live in America, right? I mean, how much money does it really need when you have nothing to eat and nowhere to live, right? Like $200, that should be good, right? So I borrowed $200 and I came to New York. But looking back at it, I was supposed to come with my best friend. And last minute, she got cold feet and she's like, I can't do it. I can't leave everyone behind. I can't leave my parents and my brother. And she's like, I can't do it. And I was like, well, I know where Romania is. So if America doesn't work out, I'll just get on a plane and go back home. I'm sure my parents would love to have me with open arms, right? So I don't know, maybe something's wrong with me, but I'm very loyal, but I don't have attachment issues. Like someone can be my best friend today and you put a knife in my back and I will never talk to you again.
Yeah.
I'm just that type of person, right? So when it's on with me, it's on. If you need my kidney, you'll have my kidney. But if you did something wrong to me, I will end it with in Hungarian we say, if your phone doesn't ring, that's me calling. That just means that bye Felicia, right? So because I know what I bring to the table, and I know that my parents love me, and I know that I have the love of my family from home, even though it's from far away. And I know that this is what it takes to chase your dreams. America's not going to come to me, right? I have to come to me. If I want the American dream, I have to, and everything in life comes at a cost. You even still made the decision to come, even when your best friend, the pressure you had to have to not go because she didn't go. Plus, mind you, I didn't speak the language and I didn't know a single human being on this continent, Ken.
Wow.
No one. Still to this day, no one's related to me by blood on the whole continent besides my 2 kids that my husband and I created.
Mhm.
I have no relatives. I have no cousin. I have no college friends. I have no college education. That's why I don't have college friends, right? So I was 21 by the time I got here.
So you get to the United States, and just walk me through a little bit of that journey. Obviously, you're talking about, you mentioned just a minute ago, just continuing to level up, like
Yeah.
becoming, my vernacular is becoming the best version of yourself.
Yeah,
And you
exactly.
just continue to just reinvent and become the best version of yourself and become this powerhouse in real estate that you are today. But it really all did begin with a decision to leave home and family. And then even another huge decision when your girlfriend goes, I can't go, I've got cold feet, and you still left.
Yeah.
You didn't know anybody, and you only had $200 in your pocket. So
Borrow.
walk me through the first couple years of being in the States.
Actually, I asked my mom, I was like, just a couple months ago, I'm like, Mom, did I pay that guy back? Because I don't even remember who I borrowed it from, right?
Yeah.
And my mom is like, oh yeah, you paid him back right away in the first month with interest. And I was like, oh, thank God, because I do not owe, right? Like, I believe you're as good as your word, right? And I was like, oh, I didn't remember. I mean, I paid back, it's been 20 years ago. I just realized, and I arrived to United States on January 20th. So I just hit my 20th anniversary on January 20th, and I forgot it. And it was like my golden anniversary, and I forgot it. So, I mean, I don't know. I always just scheme that it might sound like it's a big deal for you, but to me, it was really the price to pay to come to America, right? I didn't look back. I look back and I'm like, well, I'm going to give it all I got in this country. I'm going to figure it out. And if I was wrong and this place is not meant for me and I do not have to be here, then I know where Romania is, right? And right around age 29, so 8 years after I came to the US, I started going through like a soul searching thing. I was 29 and I was like, do I serve a purpose on this earth? Because I don't have a voice like Celine Dion, and I can't paint like some artist, and I'm not a ballerina, and I don't have college education, and I have no skills. Like God didn't give me something that I'm so good at. And I was like, what purpose do I serve? Do I serve any? Am I going to leave a little dot in the history, the big book of history one day? And so I started doing like my soul searching period. And I started with Oprah's Super Soul Sunday and Masterclass. Oprah at the time was sending out these notebooks, and I got on the list and I got her leather notebook, and I started going through all of those episodes and just taking notes and notes and notes and notes and notes and learning from others. Masterclass was, and still is, kind of like a class where everybody's who somebody made it in life and we know their name for whatever reason, right? They kind of walk through who they are and how they got to where they at and what are the life lessons they learned. And I love learning through others versus having to learn on my own skin. So I started with that, and then I went down on the journey of Tony Robbins and Dr. Wayne Dyer. So I just went down and I got to the end of Google and YouTube, and then I started going to Tony Robbins seminars. So I done YouTube. I done Unleash the Power Within, I think 7 times
with Tony. Oh wow.
Yeah. I did Business Mastery twice. I did Date with Destiny, and I'm hoping to go back to Date with Destiny in the end of this year. So Tony is the speaker. He talks the way I need to hear it. Right? I can only learn from people that I feel like they could kick my ass.
Yeah.
If I can eat you for lunch, then I feel like I already know what you know, right? So he's the kind of teacher that I like to hear it from. And I go back. People ask me all the time, why do you keep going back? It's because, as Veronica Figueroa says, different levels, different devils. Same lesson, you might hear it at a different time, means something totally different.
Talk to me about some of the things, obviously, in real estate, growing up a massive organization in real estate, one of the top realtors in the state of Michigan. Talk to me about some of the things you've learned. What are some, because obviously you continue to go back. I mean, you're sharpening yourself. You never settle.
Never.
Talk to me. What are some of the biggest lessons you've learned in the last couple of years? Go.
And also because the industry changes so fast, right?
Yes, it does. Yes.
If we don't change, we are going to be out of business. I think the first one was probably that it is very cutthroat, right? Like if you think about it, why would a top producing agent help you and give you the tools that it took them, right, to become top producer? They would be training their own competition in their own backyard. So the industry is not built for that. So initially when I started interviewing, plus I'm also like teacher's pet. If you're going to see me at an event, I'm front and central. And if they say, can I ask anybody opening up for questions? I'm the first one to ask questions, right?
I guess we'll see next year at my event, huh?
Because I have a million questions, right? If I don't know the answer to something, the best person to ask is the one who's been there, done that, right?
That's exactly right.
Quickest way to success is using your steps that you took and implemented into my business. I don't need to pave the way. You already paved it. I'm just going to talk to you.
Yep.
So when I got into real estate, I went into all of the top producing agents in the office and I asked them, hey, what do you do? Like, how the heck do you do 42 homes, sell 42 homes a month, right? And I interviewed them all and they told me all of their skills. Like one was cold caller, one was farming an area, one was buying Zillow leads. And I was like, I'm not willing to do that. I wouldn't like doing that. I don't have money to do that, right? And so I realized two things is that if you do things just because that's what other people's did and that's how they made the money, but it feels like work to you, that is not your path, right? There's a saying that you do, what is it? If you never work a day in your life if you love what you do.
Love what you're doing, right?
So find out what are the ways that other people were doing. And back in the day, like now we are talking 2011, right? When I got real estate license. So back in the day, like Facebook pages didn't exist. Social media wasn't a thing. Yeah. Facebook was just barely a thing, right? So agents were telling you, you're never going to make it if you don't cold call. You're never going to make it if you don't door knock. You're never going to make it if you blah, blah, blah. So my biggest lesson was that you are going to be able to make it if you're certain what is your path. I knew that my path was social media. And I stuck it out even when I was the oddball out. And when people used to make fun of me in events of like, there's Gogo again. She's going to take another selfie, right? But I knew that those pictures are going to pay the bills one day. So what I'm trying to say is that you can settle to use somebody else's path because it's a proven path and it's a quick way to success, but it's going to feel like work. Or you can figure out what is your path. It's going to take you a little harder, right? Like you might be the oddball out and the people pointing at you, but eventually you will be the expert. So what people used to make fun of me for, now they call me the social media queen.
I love that. That's amazing. So what are some other the big lessons, maybe in the last couple of years since COVID? Obviously COVID was a difficult season for a lot of people. What are some things you learned about you that you didn't know about you maybe a couple, 2 or 3 years ago?
I actually had this conversation with my husband yesterday in the bathroom, because I call them gut feelings, but they are more like little hints from God. And I always act on it. If my gut feeling says go over to the other side of the road, I sure freaking go over to the other side of the road. If my gut feeling says you no longer need to be working with this person, you can trust me, we are breaking that partnership for what I don't even care for the reason. Right? I trust God. And I think, I don't want to put words in other people's mouth, but I think some people question that gut feeling and they don't act on it. So
how did you learn to listen to that and then really lean into what you felt like your instinct or your gut or what God was telling you to do?
I guess when you start doing it, so the very, very first time, I mean, I always believed in God. So God was always a part of my life, right? But the very first time, and I don't know if it's intuition or I don't even know how to describe it. I'll just describe the situation and you give it a name. So I was in the shower in our Michigan home, and this is way before I started reading any of these books or going to any of the events, right? And I'm in the shower and I'm just minding my business, right? And I get this, so I'm actually washing my hair with my eyes closed in the shower. And I get this idea, and it felt like it was like literally a tunnel right into my brain, a funnel. And I was like, what a great idea, but it is not my idea. It is not my idea, right? And then I acted on it. I was like, well, that's a great idea. So I acted on it, right? And then I realized, then the results came. And when you start seeing the results, you're like, oh, hold on a minute. I need to listen to this, right? So now I live my life. You were asking one of the biggest lessons. One of my biggest lessons from life, I learned from this book. As you can see, I read it a few times.
Yeah, Ogmandino, great book, phenomenal book.
Everything is underlined. So chapter 11 is my favorite. And I'll tell you why. I am nature's greatest miracle. Since the beginning of time, never has there been another with my mind, my heart, my eyes, my ears, my hands, my hair, my mouth. None that came before me, none that lives today, and none that come tomorrow can walk and talk and move and think exactly like me. All men are my brothers, but yet I am different from each. I am a unique creature. I am nature's greatest miracle. So what that means to me in this book is that God created me and he gave me my skills. He knows who I am. And he gives me the ideas because he knows then I have the skills for it. The question is, when God gives you the ideas, the question is, do you have balls to take action? Because he also gives you a choice.
So what do you think is the main reason people don't act on that gut instinct or God speak to them?
Because they live in certainty. So I don't know if you listen to Tony Robbins. I think there's 6 human needs. One of them is certainty, uncertainty, the need for love, all of that connections, right? I live in uncertainty because I love the new. I would shoot myself in the foot by noon if I had to do the same exact thing tomorrow than I did today. I would shoot myself if I made $100,000 than I made last year, right? And that's not what I made last year, but I'm just saying, right? So I live in uncertainty. I feel like most people, they just hold on to the one that they already achieved versus taking the risk of even if I lose this. The way I look at it, even if whatever idea it is that you are taking on, let's say that's the worst idea you ever did. If you already made $100,000, it's like riding a bike. You can do it again and again and again and again. That skill never goes away. But what if you turn that skill into making $1 million? But you never took the risk because you were wanting to hold on to that 100,000 certainty. Well, if you know how to ride a bike once, you know how to ride a bike again.
Yeah. It's funny. You talk about that, about the risks component. You know, we just finished our Create conference. I know you were busy, you had some stuff going on, but we just finished our Create conference. Bit over 300 people. Les Brown, John Maxwell, Ed Milet, Brent Gove. I mean, it was unbelievable this weekend. And the one message I wanted to get across to everybody that was there was, you see all of this, but you have no idea what the risk was. I mean, this thing cost me almost $300K out of my pocket. I don't have investors. I don't have somebody. This is my money. This is my deal. And now we did over that this weekend in revenue. But the problem is leading up to that event, I'm like, damn, can we pull this off? Do we have what it takes to pull this off? And I tell people all the time, like, if you don't risk big, you'll never win big. Like, you've got to be able to risk. And I love Grant says it all the time. He's like, dude, and I think this is why Grant's given me the platform with him that he has. I've spoken for him several times, is I just continually go all in. I just continue. I mean, that's what you've done since you were 21 years old and your girlfriend said, I ain't going. Yeah. You just continue, speak to that and going all in. And I say it's guts, because part of it is you learn to believe in yourself at a different level.
So I think it has to do with, I got over this like poor me thing, because I'll share another story. So I messaged my assistant because I do have a 12 o'clock and I told her to join that Zoom. And if the person shows up, let me know. And then I have to leave here. If she doesn't show up, then I can stay. So I'm going to keep that open just so I can see if she messages me. So with that being said, when I was growing up, even though I had an amazing childhood, I do come from Eastern Europe, which means there's no lovey, touchy, feely. We don't do things. There's no love. There's no verbal. There's no physical. It just doesn't happen, right? At least not in my neck of the woods in Transylvania. But I needed love. I needed to hear it, because I'm a doer. You cannot do. I can do anything. I believe I can do anything, right? So there's nothing you can do for me where I would feel your love. I need to hear it, that you're proud of me, or you love me, or you're my biggest supporter. Oh my gosh, like this just happened, and oh my gosh, Gogo, you're awesome, right? So that's how I would feel the love. So because that's what I wanted from my parents, right? To hear their love, that they're proud of me or that they love me, I constantly achieved. Because I thought, oh, if I achieve this, then they're going to tell me they love me. Or if I achieve that, then they're going to tell me they're proud of me, right? So because they never did, it never happened. Actually, the first time I told my parents I love them, they hung up the phone on me. They were like, click. It's just not our culture. It's not that they don't love me. They love me more than life, right? And they would do anything. Sister is just, it's not the culture. So anyway, what I learned from that, though, now in my 30, 40 years of life, right, is that it taught me to love myself.
Mm.
It taught me that the only source of love that I can control, it might come from people, right? But the only one that I can control when I think I need it is my own love for myself.
Mm.
So now I don't need it from anyone else. I don't do it anymore because I want somebody to like hit me on the back and say how awesome I am. But now I do it because I know I can, because I believe I can.
So I often say this, we love others through the same lens we love ourselves. And so it's really hard to love other people if we don't first love ourselves. What are some of the things you've learned, Go, in learning to love you?
That I'm always honest. So I have to go, my appointment is here.
Yep.
So I learned that, I didn't learn that. I think my filter was broken when God created me. He was like, oops, sorry, I forgot to give Gogo a filter. So it comes right up. And sometimes people take it, then I might be harsh at them or yelling at them, but I'm truly doing it with the bestest intentions and kind of also just to snap you out of it, right? Because if I was too kind to you and I empathetic and I agree with you why you don't have the success that you want to have, and I listen to you 15 minutes of the million excuses that you have, that would not be true. And my husband even tells me sometimes, he's like, how the earth do you still have friends? But don't ask me how your jeans look or your butt looks in those jeans, because if it doesn't look good, I'm going to tell you, right? So, but I heard loyalty and honesty is the best. And I love people through that. Meaning, I will tell you how I see it. I will never lie to your face. Now, I'm not saying that everything I say is true, but I can tell you it's true to me because that's what happened to me when I did this. Right. And that's how I do my coaching. And that's how I love on people, is by being as loyal and as honest as I can. And sometimes it hurts because the truth hurts. Right. But when it finally opens someone's eyes and opens them up to hold on a minute, I can do better, because all these thoughts in my head are just excuses. One of my favorite things when I coach people is, any other excuses?
We talked about that before we got on our call today. I know you've got to run. Yes. What's the best way for part two? Yes, we can definitely do a part two. What's the best way for people to connect with you, Gogo? Because I've got a lot more I want to talk to you about. That's
awesome. Gogo's Real Estate on Instagram, or Gogo Betke everywhere else.
Gotcha, girl. I appreciate you.
Thank you so much for having me. Let's do this again.
Yes, guys, thank you for joining us on this week's episode of As the Leader Goes podcast. Gogo Part 1. We're going to have Gogo Part 2 soon. Girl, hit your appointment. Guys, again, thank you. If this episode's added value to you, smash the like button, hit subscribe. If you share it on social media, tag myself, tag Gogo. We'll share that as well and give you a little love on Instagram and on other social media channels.
That's a good idea.
We will see you next time on As the Leader Goes.
Bye, guys.